Is Iran redrawing the Hormuz battle map, warning the US that a far bigger strategic zone is now in play if the war flares again? Iran drops new Hormuz curveball just as Trump plans to discuss the war with Xi Jinping during his China visit. From 20 to 30 miles to 200 to 300 miles, will Washington simply watch as Tehran claims a tenfold expansion of its Hormuz battlefield? No longer a narrow strait. Is Iran raising the Hormuz stakes precisely as Trump weighs renewed strikes, expanding the chokepoint into a sprawling war zone? The IRGC Navy has claimed that it has greatly expanded how it defines the Strait of Hormuz, according to a report by TWZ. Under this new Iranian definition, the strategic zone of Hormuz is said to have expanded roughly tenfold. The IRGC stated that the area has grown from about 20 to 30 miles to more than 200 to 300 miles in scope, according to these reports. Tehran claimed the strait is no longer just a narrow passage around a few islands, but a much larger operational zone. Mohammad Akbarzadeh said, quote, "The strait is no longer viewed as a narrow stretch around a handful of islands but instead has been greatly enlarged in scope and military significance. In the past, the Strait of Hormuz was defined as a limited area around islands such as Hormuz and Hengam, but today this view has changed. The strait is now defined as a strategic zone stretching from the city of Jarsk in the east to Siri Island in the west." Unquote. According to the IRGC, this new definition was created in response to Trump's claim that Iran's navy has been destroyed. The announcement comes as Iran continues to restrict most shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. The White House has rejected Iran's Hormuz claims and said that Tehran has been crushed militarily. White House Deputy Press Secretary Anna Kelly said, quote, "During Operation Epic Fury, Iran was crushed militarily. Their ballistic missiles are destroyed, their production facilities are dismantled, their navy is sunk, and their proxies are weakened. Now, they are being strangled economically by Operation Economic Fury and losing $500 million per day thanks to the US military's successful blockade of Iranian ports. The Iranian regime knows full well their current reality is not sustainable, and President Trump holds all the cards as negotiators work to make a deal." Unquote. Trump has now threatened new airstrikes, or even ground action, if talks with Iran fail. President Donald Trump met with his national security team as negotiations with Iran appeared to hit a deadlock. US officials say Trump is now weighing possible new actions against Iran in a bid to increase pressure. The White House had hoped Iran's latest response would show real movement toward a deal to end the conflict. Instead, Tehran reportedly rejected the US proposal, denouncing it as a demand for Iran's surrender. Trump brushed off Iran's reply, calling the offer from Tehran inappropriate and unacceptable. The US president again insisted that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon under any circumstances. Trump also warned that the current ceasefire with Iran is now on massive life support. According to US officials, Trump may order the resumption of military operations targeting Iranian infrastructure and strategic sites. Another option under discussion is restarting US naval operations through the Strait of Hormuz. Iran, for its part, has already tightened controls around Hormuz in response to earlier US pressure on its shipping. The Iran crisis is expected to dominate Trump's upcoming talks with Chinese President Xi Jinping later this week.
You mentioned that you're already meeting with the generals on Iran. You rejected a deal from Iran over the weekend. Can you tell us anything about that proposal and what, if any, effort was made to break this deal?
Yeah, it was just unacceptable. You know, a lot of people said, well, does he have a plan? Yeah, of course they do have the best plan ever. I mean, Iran has been defeated militarily, totally. They have a little left. They probably built up during this period of time. We'll knock that out in about a day. But I have a plan. You know, it is a very simple plan. I don't know why you don't say it like it is. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. They're very dangerous. They're very volatile. It's a terrible thing that's happened over there. They've killed 42,000 people in the last 2 months. 42,000. At least that's what we know of. 42,000 people. They killed numerous people over the last week, but they killed 42,000 people a month and a half ago. They were unarmed protesters, not at all violent protesters, and they started taking them out, shooting them. So we're not going to let them. That's the plan. You know, people say, "What's the plan?" The plan is very simple. The blockade, first of all, was a part of military genius, just like Venezuela was military genius. We have the greatest military in the world by far, and we're stocked up with great ammunition. We have much better stuff than we did 2 months ago when we first did the attack, which knocked them for a loop. But very simple. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. It can't have it. And if they did have it, the Middle East would be gone, Israel would be gone, and they'd hit Europe probably next. We're doing the service to the world. And this has gone on for 47 years. Other presidents and leaders of other countries that have the power should have done it, but they didn't do it. But it's a very simple plan. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, and they won't have a nuclear weapon, and they didn't want to go that far. If you can believe it, they didn't. How stupid. Are they stupid people? They didn't want to believe it. They think that, well, I'll get tired of this, or I'll get bored, or I'll have some pressure. But there's no pressure. There's no pressure at all. We're going to have a complete victory. We've already, in theory, had a complete victory from the military standpoint. The military, look, their Navy is dead. They had 159 ships. Right now they have 0, other than the little speedboats that go around that got taken out 8 a day by us. They have no Air Force. They have no anti-aircraft. Now, they probably put the shoulder jobs into service over the last 3 weeks, probably. But essentially, they have no anti-aircraft, they have no radar. And frankly, their leaders have been killed at the first level, second level, and half at the third level. And then they come back and they want to negotiate, and they give us it's a stupid proposal.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that we will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest newsmakers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry guards.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.